morning is the Robert William McTaggart Sr. file. This is in the matter of Robert McTaggart Sr. file 52884. We have the names of our participants, please.
Douglas Hartson, appearing on behalf of petitioner Robert McTaggart Jr., who's seated to my right.
Thank you. Welcome. Right. Deputy Ames, could you check my desk and see if Mr. McTaggart's file somehow got left in the back room there?
I will, Your Honor.
All right. As we look for the official paperwork, I'll count on Mr. Hartson. Go ahead and give us his presentation.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the date and time set for the request to appoint Mr. McTaggart Jr. as the personal representative for his father's estate. We've also asked the court to determine errors in this matter. We did this for two reasons. The younger legal heirs in this matter, as Mr. McTaggart Sr. passed away intestate, were all sons of Bradley T. McTaggart Sr. And Bradley T. McTaggart Sr. was adopted by Robert William McTaggart Sr. So we were asking the court to approve them as legal heirs in this matter. None of the other legal heirs would have an objection to that occurring. The other factor was we thought there would probably be some divisiveness between Robert McTaggart Jr. and Todd McTaggart, his brother, in terms of this gentleman's, Mr. McTaggart Jr.'s request to be appointed as personal representative. If the court recalls, there is Todd McTaggart was here during our delay. I had a chance to talk to him in the hallway for a while. Excuse me. Alleviate a lot of his concerns, and he decided to withdraw his objections, he told me, and has in fact left the building during the course of our discussion this morning. So with that out of the way, I think a lot of this is more pro forma in nature, and we still ask the court to appoint Mr. McTaggart Jr. as the personal rep for his father's estate. We're asking this to be done formally. The record would also show that the various needed interested parties were served, proof of services in the file, and an appropriate publication occurred, and that proof of service is also in the file at this point in time.
Yes, thank you. What are the assets that you anticipate administering?
The assets are relatively modest. I think there are two residences, and we're estimating the value at about $150,000, maybe a little more than that.
Maybe a little more.
And a vehicle, and probably a small bank account.
Yep.
Do you wish to take any testimony from your proposal?
Unless the court requires it, Your Honor, I don't need any testimony.
All right, I have received and reviewed the file. Thank you, Deputy Ames. The argument of Mr. Hartung is absolutely correct. We do have proof of service in the file as well as proof of publication. I'm glad to see that perhaps at least there was one silver lining on our delay this morning, which is to allow the family to resolve any difficulties around this appointment. The court finds further that there is information in the file that does support Mr. Robert William McTaggart Sr. passed away July 12, 2023, a resident of Lenawee County, making venue proper in our court. There have been no written objections to the relief requested, specifically as to the determination of heirs, the finding of intestacy, or the appointment of Mr. McTaggart Jr. Therefore, it will be the order of the court the petition is granted, and the findings are also reflected in the order, including that Mr. McTaggart Sr. passed away without a will, the appointment of Mr. McTaggart Jr. as personal representative. I will not require a bond at this time. It sounds like most of the assets are in a form that does not present liquid assets at risk. The order also contains a determination of heirs as requested without objection. And I've signed the letters of authority. Thank you one more time for your patience. I'm so sorry for your loss. And that's all we need from you today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, McClellan? Yes.
This is in the matter of Mary Helen McLennan, file 52747.
Okay, we have the request on Mary Helen McClellan. It is a pre-trial. So we'd be looking for Mr. Gross, Mr. Crichton, and Mr. McFarland. It looks like.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, your name for the record, please.
William Gross here on behalf of petitioners.
Michael McFarland, Attorney Guardian ad litem.
Thank you. Mr. Crichton, whenever you're ready for your appearance.
I think he just called my office. He had been kicked back out, so somebody's telling him to try and log back in.
Okay, yeah, he was logged in and then all of a sudden he's not, so I suppose we could come back to it. Do you have any interest in me setting up a breakout room for the three of you to chat, or?
That'd be fine. I think I was just talking to Carl while we were waiting for the other hearing to take place. So, you know, I've had a chance to speak with him this morning. So I don't know that we necessarily need a breakout room, actually. We can probably just proceed with letting the court know where this matter's at and how we want to proceed.
All right, very good. Mr. Crichton has rejoined us. Mr. Crichton, would you like to put your appearance on the record? What are the challenges of Zoom? Okay, Mr. Crichton, can you hear me? He's logged in and connected to audio, it would appear, but muted. Mr. Gross, you've spoken to him. What are the issues as you see it?
Well, the parties have received the report of the guardian ad litem. Since that, the parties have been engaged in sort of an attempt to informally resolve some of the issues between the parties. So to that end, we've not yet engaged in formal mediation, but Carl and I were just discussing that. I think that may still be a good idea. We were wondering if we do that, would the mediator be able to put the agreement into a form that could be signed as an order by the court? A lot of the issues we want to try and work on deal with access to the subject of this petition. My clients have been pretty restricted in their access to visiting, to communicating with her, and to knowing about her medical condition. So we're just hoping to maybe come to a compromise on some of those issues. And I wonder, what form that any agreement might be able to take place or be signed off on by the court.
I'm always happy to look at agreements by parties. Well, with this particular matter, we have a form that governs the order regarding appointment of guardian of incapacitated individual, but I would be happy to allow an attachment to that and indicate within the PC 631 that there is an attachment and that the parties have agreed to follow that. Would be my the quickest suggestion that I have for you. I can give you another pretrial date to allow you to continue working on those issues. How much time do you think you'll need to complete formal mediation?
Carl, I'm not sure. Maybe I think I'd be hopeful within 30 days.
Well, Your Honor, there are obviously there are 7 siblings. We have to find a mediator and coordinate the mediator, those 7 schedules, along with my schedule and Mr. Gross's. So I don't know that 30 days is going to be enough. I know there is an evidentiary hearing scheduled on the original petition, but we've also received a guardian ad litem report indicating a recommendation that petition be denied. I understand and that there may be good things that could come out of a mediation, but I'm not sure that there's anything good that can come out of an evidentiary hearing at this juncture. So if we could have 30 to 45 days to try and have mediation and then another pretrial after that, I don't see where we're going to have need for an evidentiary hearing. We may need another pretrial if we cannot come to some agreement on certain issues raised in the mediation.
Very well. Either way, it doesn't look like you're going to be ready for that by October 9th, which is the previously scheduled date for that. Would you agree?
it would be tight, I would assume, Your Honor.
Sure. Yeah, I'd agree with Carl's suggestion. Of 30 to 45 days to mediate, and then change that evidentiary hearing to another pretrial should we need to proceed on that.
The next available time I have after the 9th will be either the 12th, or you'll have to go into November on the first full week there. So I could give you the 2nd or the 9th, which is our typical Thursday probate days. If you have a preference, let me know now.
That was November 2nd or 9th.
Yes.
Either of those are fine with me.
I think going out that far should be no problem to work around, Your Honor.
Fine by me too.
Very good. So let's go ahead and set it for Thursday, November 2nd. We'll set it for pretrial at about 11:30. And we'll take the scheduled evidentiary trial off the books for the 9th and just check in with you on Thursday the 2nd to see what's happening. Any other issues addressed for you by way of pretrial today?
Yes, Your Honor. Does the court have a recommendation as to a process for this mediation? Will and I had some preliminary discussions and felt that probably it should be conducted via Zoom because of the geographic spread of the participants. Does the court have a recommendation of an independent third party individual or body that might be able to help us? I mean, essentially, we have 7 siblings, 4 on one side, 3 on another. We are narrowing, I think, the issues, and we need to just basically discuss how those issues will be handled and have some guidelines with enforceable provisions for both parties to make sure that the guidelines are followed. So
we really only have a couple of local mediators certified, as I understand it. That includes Phil Shadler and David Lacoste. Mr. Gross may have some other suggestions for you, but those would be the names that come to me immediately. Obviously, there are some others out of town. I don't have a preference on who you use. Whoever you're comfortable with, and whoever is able to accommodate whether or not you need to use Zoom.
all right, well, I guess it will be up to Will and I to try to agree upon a mediator, facilitator, and get that ball in motion.
Sounds good. If you can't agree, just assume that I'm going to recommend you go to Phil to start with.
Okay, thank you.
I know he's got full availability. He's retired and all he's doing now is mediation, so.
I just
He'll
saw
be
that,
flexible.
yes. So sure. We'll figure out somebody to use and make sure we get that scheduled ASAP.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your patience this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who
Thank
can
you.
I count on to draft the order?
I can do that.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. All
Thank
right.
you, Your Honor.
We'll see you at your next pretrial in November. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Welcome.
Okay, are we gonna call Parker?
Yes.
Let's try. This is in the matter of Leslie Parker, file 52822.
All right, in the Parker matter, I have had a request delivered through the clerk's office, frankly, to adjourn this particular matter. The attorney had a conflict, a personal matter that he had to attend to, couldn't find coverage. For transcriptionist, it was scheduled for today. Was also informed of that, and our clerk's office is reaching out to reschedule that. So we will be adjourning on the matter of Leslie David Parker, and I'll leave it to the parties to discover that new date through our clerk's office.
Your Honor, I do have a question.
All right, Mr. McFarland, why don't you put your appearance on record? I think you're the only one here for this today.
Michael McFarland, attorney, guardian ad litem.
Is there anybody else here on the Leslie David Parker matter? That's called.
Well, if not, then I don't have a question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McFarland.
Thank you. If I could ask Mr. Ames to let Sierra know to remove her laptop as we have a transcription as that was available. So I guess, do we need to address the issue of cost, or will that be at the next hearing, Your Honor?
We'll reserve that.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to be taking up next the Marlena and Renee Byers matter. Come on up to the council. And then Ms. Boudreaux, you can go up and down.
Okay, this is in the matter of Marlena Byers, file 52786.
Okay, we are back on the record. On this request for guardianship, the court adjourned the original hearing to allow the investigation and opinion of the Department of Health and Human Services to be part of the conversation about what's in the best interest of this child. May I have the names of our participants? Let's start with the court.
Rose Gehring, Sandra Rose.
Okay, and Ms. Jones.
Amanda Jones from Lenawee County Department of Health and Human Services.
Thank you. Deputy Ames, would you swear everyone in for us?
Remain seated, but raise your right hand, please. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Let's start with your comments. I have your report. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I apologize, Your Honor, that it was a couple days late than what was asked of me. I didn't realize there was a date on there until I turned it in. So I completed a guardianship investigation regarding Marlena. Marlena is currently living with her power of attorney, Crystal Sar, it was Gehring, and Crystal is currently living with her mother, Rose, who is applying for the guardianship. Marlena is bonded with Rose and Crystal. I also I talked to Sandra. I did visit Sandra's home because Marlena does visit the home. There was some concerns regarding Sandra's home and the cleanliness. There is currently a CPS investigation out of Hillsdale County regarding Sandra's home and the cleanliness that revolves around the home. At this time, Marlena's father is in prison, and it will be in there. His minimum is, I think 17 years or 12 years, excuse me, and his maximum is 30 years. He is in there for criminal sexual conduct. He has not had contact with Marlena since he was younger, per Sandra, who then he threatened to kill both her and Sandra. Crystal and Rose currently receive Social Security, and Crystal's husband lives in the home as well. He does kind of odd jobs to just to make the income work. Crystal and Rose are currently looking for new housing. Their landlord defaulted on the home, even though they were paying the rent. The bank does own the home, what they're currently living in, and is allowing them to still live there until they are finding housing, which they are actively looking for. I did do CPS checks. I did central registry checks. I did look on VineLink for any criminal records or court, anything like that. That was all checked out there. All participants do have some CPS history. Currently, Rose is on central registry, but it should be expunged. It was from 97, so it's very long ago, and after 10 years, she should have been expunged. So I've already been told our director, and she's aware of that. And I did check some sex offender registry, that all checked out too. Based on this investigation, I think that the guardianship should be ordered. To Rose, she does have Crystal there to help her with Marlena. Visits with Sandra are going fine. But there is some concerns when Marlena comes back regarding, there was a bug bite when I had the guardianship investigation that was not told to Crystal or Rose before Marlena came back to them. There has been other concerns regarding bites or Marlena coming back and looking for food through the trash. So it's those little concerns, and then also concern regarding Sandra's home. At this time, Marlena does not go back to Sandra's home until this weekend, I think it was. But I have no other concerns with the new guardian or the power of attorney.
All right, were you able to make the referral for early on as you recommended for Marlena?
So I know that they were following up with that already before I even came into the picture. They've already reached out to Dragger Early Head Start to enroll her. And they were working on doing that.
Okay, ladies, anything you'd like to add today?
I got an appointment for the Head Start on, I think the 6th. Sixth, I think. But I don't know what month.
This month.
The 6th this month.
And you're prepared to fully cooperate with Child Protection Services? Sorry,
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
are you as well?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for submitting yourselves to the investigation. Thank you, Ms. Jones, for your time and efforts. At this time, it does appear notice of hearing was given to all interested parties in regard to today's request for appointment. It does appear that Ms. Marlene Byers is a minor, that is in need of a guardian. At this time, she is residing with Ms. Rose Daring without the legal authority necessary to submit her to things like early on medical appointments, educational needs, and that is an outstanding need for her at this time. I do find further that her welfare will be served by the appointment. Therefore, it's the order of the court that petition is granted. Ms. Rose Daring is appointed the full guardian of this minor with regularly submitted reports moving forward as part of the court's order. And unless there's any questions, that's all for this morning. Thank you for your patience.
Give me anything you want me to take across the hall.